Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Retrek. I'm Captain Jim, and with me, of course, are Admiral Elliot.
Hi there.
And Dr. Squee.
Dragon!
And we're here to talk about the latest episode of Lower Decks, Fully Dilated, and the Enterprise episode Carbon Creek, which was referenced within it. And this week, we've had a couple of weeks away from the ongoing multiverse incursion anomaly storyline, but it's very much back with a vengeance this week with the Purple Enterprise.
And there is
I did actually look. I was just off to say, from your camera angle, actually looks like you've deliberately put a purple tint on it for this week, Ian.
There is a little bit. Actually, I see what you mean. Yeah, I have no idea what is the lamp, but might be the light.
I just thought you'd maybe done it sort of because purple's an if you've got purple as an option, why not?
I think it's the lamp next to me. That's a really good. Yeah, totally on purpose. Yeah.
Intentional. Yeah.
Speaking of intentional, I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but I've made some notes. Unfortunately, some deleted because my computer crashed. But I think the writers this week were having fun with how much innuendo they could sneak into this.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Jim didn't pick up on it when we were talking earlier in the week. I asked him, but
it's because I'm an innocent flower. I don't notice this sort of stuff. You two will have to educate me as we go along this episode.
I mean, I've kind of got 4 on the list. Can I just quickly rattle through them? Because
yeah.
So we've got Purple Enterprise. Wonder if the carpets match the hull. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
The title of it, to be honest with you, I mean, I know like that's usually used for pregnancy, but kind of suggestive. Ransom, our friends on the Purple D left us a little surprise. That sounded naughty to me. And Purple, I think that is not coincidental.
Yeah, I mean the purple, a Purple D sounds suggestive.
Exactly. We've got.
I can go with that.
Definitely the whole matching the carpets.
There was the bit with the giant melons, which Tandy says she can hardly get her melons through the door. Of course, the OG reference from near the end of the episode. So sorry to spoilers, but of course they mention, he really is fully functional, which we all know is about as not. So it's all about sex. So yeah,
I just think you're both filthy. I did not notice any of this.
It's maybe because since I've moved down south that I'm noticing all this filth.
That's it. Yeah, dirty minds.
South Yorkshire. Just for anyone listening, South Yorkshire. I'm in Southampton, like right on the. Anyway.
So there's a Purple Enterprise, which has come through one of the fissures, anomalies, whatever you want to call them. And it is just literally a purple universe by the look of it. Everything has a purple tint to it. Other than that, it seems to be more or less exactly the same as our universe, but though presumably the Enterprise D's survived longer in their universe.
Yeah, well, the only thing which I'd point out is not everything could be purple in the universe because Data comes up with a wonderful line like, it just seems if you've got purple as an option, which means he obviously recognizes there are other cuts. So some things must not be purple.
I think it's maybe that all the people are purple, so
maybe
everything purple to match.
I'm just thinking maybe it's not all the people because we only see Data, and Data's synthetic and the Enterprise is synthetic. So maybe it's just like metal-y stuff is purple.
Well, that's what I was thinking because, like, if grey is a neutral color to us, as referenced here. Maybe purple's neutral to them, so it could be skin color, it could be metal colored, like you suggest. Yeah, something like that. I think is probably the dealio. I did love when Freeman just says at the beginning. She goes, "It's like they came through the rift, escaping some Tasha clones or something. I don't know. I lose track.
It was fighting evil Tasha Yar's.
Yeah, clones. Yeah, and of course you can't have a mirror Enterprise episode without Tasha Yar, and I'm surprised Wesley didn't crop up but he's been featured in the Trekiverse a few times recently, so maybe they're giving him a rest. But usually, if you go to Mirror Universe, you're going to get some mention, you're going to get Will Wheaton back, and you're going to get Tasha Yar back.
Usually.
Wheaton now that Will Wheaton can actually go into all of the running series.
That's it.
He's a time traveler now, so there's no reason we won't shoehorn him in before the end of this.
That's it. Wesley could be
we can get him turn up in Strange New Worlds. We can have him show up in Academy.
I think Jim's going to say something which I've just thought as well. Go on, Jim.
I was just going to say, to use like a Marvel term, Wesley could be the anchor being of the Star Trek universe now. He can appear everywhere.
Yeah.
I like that, but I was going to say, actually, because of all the rifts and everything, I know we're expecting some Tholian action, but I wonder, as a traveler, time rifts could be him behind it. He could be the reveal. Yeah. And it would be it would be very like last season where you got Locarno behind it all.
Yeah. You've also got that thing, though, like we've just referenced there, the Enterprise Day has lasted longer in their universe. Or is there actually time differences?
Oh, yeah, there could be.
That there's a time difference with things, so...
Maybe. There isn't as much of a subplot this episode, really. The main plot is that the girls have to go down to the planet to retrieve what's left, whereas the boys are just drinking because they've read that Mirror Boimler enjoys this particular cocktail. And that's all the plot they get, really.
I've got a point, though, on this.
Go on.
Plot. Well, just because we know that Boimler, he's the one that spills the drink, but then it's Rutherford who comes up with he starts going, it's like, that was a month while you said that sentence. Oh, no, that was another month. Oh, no. I'm just because Rutherford is a game on his science, he's obviously panicking here, because if it was at that rate, it would have been several years they were stuck there as opposed
to true.
About a year. So Rutherford's flustered because he would never make a mistake like that usually, but it works in the plot still.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I just thought it was a bit of a joke, but I think you're right, yeah. Yeah, is it just less than a year, something like that?
It's about a year, yeah, something around there, yeah.
Because the conceit of the planet is that it's one of those planets, like in the Voyager episode, Blink of an Eye, where time passes differently. So the idea.
There was a couple of obvious choices, wasn't there, for our companion episode, and Blink of the Eye was the other obvious choice.
Yeah, that and Carbon Creek were the only ones which hadn't been covered already that came up mainly.
Yeah,
there's always arguments you can make for loads.
I had a feeling that we'd done Blink of the Eye as well.
No, we haven't.
All right.
No, I'd remember that. It's rare that we do a really good Voyager episode, so I would have remembered if we'd done one of the classics.
I was getting all excited about In Light, but I didn't realize you'd covered it on Road to Picard. So
we did In Light.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been another one as well. But I think we found a good one with Carbon Creek. I think that thematically it fits most closely. It's very much inspired.
And it's also mentioned. It's also actually mentioned by name in the episode.
If we hadn't covered any of them, I would say the perfect match to this would have been Time's Arrow, but that was definitely covered because head you've got a data centric, you've got so many points which match through. But I think we picked a good one. Match. Yeah.
And we're introduced once they get to the planet to my new favorite character, which is the lurker Snell. He's brilliant.
Again, like I mentioned this before in this series, it seems to just, I've noticed it particularly, but it's like it's the fact that they make you realize there's genres of Star Trek I never put together in my head. Like there is an archetype of a character who is always the one who's suspicious of the person who's just come into town and wants to job them in all through the episode. And it's like, before they said that though, I never would have pointed that out to anyone, but it's like now it seems so obvious. There's always that character. Very well
And
done.
it is just played so well with his noises and everything and the way he carries on. Yeah, he's my new favourite character.
In True Lower style as well, where everyone else would be like so worried about them, they just go, oh, fuck off. You know, they just basically own him all through the episode. It's great.
Yeah, like the first sort of confrontation with him is when they first retrieve Data's head and he's, what's that behind your back? And he's like, I'm going to juggle.
Oh, I just learned to do that now.
well, the first one before that's when they first arrive, and it's like,
you're right, yeah.
Have you got that'll be? Would you like
yeah.
to glumps or was it glumpars?
Something like that.
Two
yeah.
glumpars. We haven't got any glumpars. You've no glumpars.
Hey, we were just looking in that swamp for glumpars. In the swamp? Yeah, it was a dumb idea, right? It's like just everything is basically just telling him to piss off every time. It's great.
And I love the fact that it's not just that he's spying on them. It transpires that he is just a lurker. Like the whole village is like, will you stop it with your lurking? It's just that's his whole character and everything. I love him. I think he's great. So yeah, then Mariner decides, well, you know, if we're going to be here, you know, Captain Picard learnt the flute and everything. So if I'm going to live my probe life, I'm going to... That could sound a bit dirty.
Yeah, I was going to say that was one I had on my list before it deleted, before my computer crashed.
And she's like, right, I need to do this. I need to learn the flute. I need to go make friends with everybody.
I need to become a meaningful member of the society.
Yeah.
In fact, let's highlight the fact that she says probe in the same sentence as flute. I think that makes it twice as pervy. As a line.
I mean, when you're talking pervy flute stuff, you still can't top Alien Covenant with its.
Oh, I thought you were going to go American Pie.
Oh no, yeah, I mean that's dirty, but
well, that's where it's obviously referencing, isn't it?
That's intentionally dirty. Whereas in Alien Covenant, it's like, oh, you hold the shaft and I'll do the fingering. And they're like, oh, okay, dirty Ridley Scott. And yeah, the other plot line, if you like, is that they're going to decide on a senior science officer. So you've got Tendi and T'Lyn trying to one-up each other all the way through. And to be fair, T'Lyn is winning.
But T'Lyn isn't actually trying.
You're right.
T'Lyn's just trying to do good stuff for the mission because they're stuck.
And I love the whole thing of like her way of trying to earn money is by creating a beauty product, basically. Just give them slightly, which I mean, like Data says, it's like I'm not sure how the Prime Directive applies to giving them slightly nicer skin.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she finds a way of doing it where it's not going to impact everything. And yeah, it's by first of all making this enormous fruit, and then putting it into bottles and making skincare stuff and hair stuff and everything. And it is funny seeing Tendi getting more and more exasperated. And like you say, T'Lyn's just trying to be helpful, but everything she does just gets Tendi more and more frustrated by it because it's all really good science stuff.
And I kind of like the fact that Tendi does point out that it's the fact that that she kind of has just been home, and that kind of brought out this side in her, which was a nice reason, because it's like for a while it was like, oh, Tendi doesn't usually act like this, but it kind of makes sense. She's been very bickery with her sister, so that it brings out that side in her. Yeah, and family's perhaps the biggest trigger for old behaviors coming out in us. So yeah,
for Orions as well, particularly. Yeah.
Rose, hello, Captain Doctor. Good evening to all in chat and retread.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rose.
And there's a bit where while Tillin, we just find out Tillin's built a windmill, which, you know, every time Tendi talks to us, I've just done this. But then Snell turns up again, and Mariner just hits him with a broom to get rid of it, which I love.
Yes.
She's having absolutely none of it. Oh, go away! You're so irritating. And yeah, then Tendi activates Data's head, or Purple Data's head, and wants to kind of draw on his experience and his advice and everything to do better science-y stuff.
Can I give a bit of a nod to Brent Spiner here? Just because, like,
Yeah.
a lot of the time when they're a bit older, and even if they try to use up their voice, it doesn't work as well. You know, it's no one's fault, but you know, as people get older, their voices change. I think he recreates a young Data's voice really well here. Like,
I thought it did.
It sounds really boyish. I don't know if they used any filter or anything, but it's marvelous.
No, it did, and notably different to how his voice has sounded in Picard. So yeah,
maybe it is a filter.
Maybe they just said do young Data, because however he's done it, it was. Yeah, I agree with you though. It was very impressive.
Because even when he was the android, whatever version of Data he was before the one who's older, it was one who was meant to be the same age as Data, I think. So
yeah,
like, and it didn't sound younger there. So it's like whatever voice he's meant to do, it was just great. Yeah.
I did like the conversation between Tandy and Data where she's trying to find out, when she explains that he's lost his body.
Oh,
he goes, I've got it. It's happened to me before. Oh, how did you get out of it last time? Oh, well, I just hung around in a cave for 500 years and waited for Picard, myself and somebody wearing a silver jumpsuit. Because it was an unnamed character in TNG.
Oh, God, yeah. Damn it. Because the wording he used around the guy with the silver jumpsuit, like a guy with a silver jumpsuit did something to the way he worded it. I think also could go into the innuendo file, but I can't remember the bloody word.
I just like how it was though, because it was an unnamed character in the TNG episode Time Zero. He just went and some guy in a silver jumpsuit.
And then Mariner, in a quest to try and impress people and fit in, she puts out the eternal flame, which makes them all think they've been cursed or that they're going to die or whatever. And that's very sort of drawing on these archetypal stories where they've got something of value.
You've done something. One member of the crew has done something that it's like just this. Wesley trips over a fence. Yeah. Oh no, you've got to be executed because you.
Well, she references that, doesn't she? She says something like, "Oh, 2 months for doing this." Like, you know, this makes the Edo look lenient. Or she says something like that.
I'll even actually, it's another kind of one of those things about her character development as well, if you think about it, because here she's trying to just live her best life. She's trying to grow as a person by learning new skills like the flute, whatever. And every time she tries to, she does something like classic Mariner might have done on purpose.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because it's like, for fuck's sake, I'm trying to do the right thing here, but I end up in jail. But
twice.
In a minute. I don't want to. It's great.
And then when the recall signal finally goes off, this is when Snell attacks and he sees Data's head. And he said, well, tell that to your non-horned demon head or something.
Yeah, wait till I tell the rest of the village that my lurking keeps them safe.
That's the best bit, because he actually leaves. Then he comes back into frame just to go.
That is a lovely character. Just the noise, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Like, every one of these characters, you feel like goes meh, even if they actually don't.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's gone, and then it's as if he remembers, I've got to do my catchphrase. So he comes back to go meh. And then we get the conversation between Tendi and T'Lyn, and T'Lyn's saying, "Oh no, I'm gonna remove myself from consideration because
I didn't
I've
realise it was so
shown
important for you.
Well,
and I've
also,
shown
to your
that
point,
my
like,
communication's not good enough," sort of thing.
and it's a kind of subtle thing, but I feel like it's a kind of very Star Trek message. If you don't support your friends and you get kind of like jealous and you react to that, you can end up bashing their self-confidence and everything. Whereas if you build them up, they work together, as they do in the end in the role. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, and well, we're jumping a bit ahead, but we do get the perfect Star Trek ending where it's like both of you are going to be the science officer.
That's why I didn't out and out say it. I was, I didn't want to preempt you.
See,
Yeah, well,
you didn't even say spoilers before that.
Well, that's why I didn't actually say that.
I wasn't having a go at you. It's that bloody Northerner.
I didn't think you were having a go either, right?
It reminds me of there's an episode of Buffy. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's when they have Slayer Fest '93 or whatever year it was. Homecoming. It's the Homecoming episode. And it's all about who's going to be Homecoming Queen, Buffy or Cordelia, all the way through. Then they get to the end and they go, for the first time ever, we have joint Homecoming Queens. And you think it's going to be Buffy and Cordelia, but it's two other people that we've never heard of all episode. But in this one, it is our two episodes who get to be, our two characters who get to be the joint science officer. But the way they escape is Data chews off the rope, and he says, I learnt this from Worf. Which, do we remember Worf chewing any rope, or is this a purple universe only?
And also, he goes, again, it was another one. As he gnaws on the ropes, she
this is
tells
when
him to go at it or
comes
something.
out.
It's another suggestive thing here. I think.
This is when Mariner comes out with "You really are fully functional."
Yes, while he's chewing on gnawing at the ropes around just above her waist. I'm just saying. The visuals as well with the.
I am trying to think if there has been an episode where Worf's doing it.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
But it does seem like a very Worf thing to do.
It does. I'm sure Worf could do it.
Why do you think he uses his teeth sharpener? It's just in case.
Yeah, well, he does.
That was the best thing ever when he got that off Nogs there going away to.
And then when they manage to get rid of Snell, all the villagers turn on him. And I do feel a little bit bad for him because his lurking did pay off in this, but they don't believe him.
Well, it's the whole sequence where I just really enjoy Mariner. Every time she goes, right, we're out of here, let's get out. It's like, now we got to deal with this. Oh, for Christ. Like, just everything, just like every time she gets near to getting them out of there. And she's following every rule, as I said earlier. And still, it's like everything just goes tits up one thing at a time. It's just great.
But she does get her payoff, which is, no, you've made a community in prison with the other prisoners.
Yeah.
I love that.
And he's like, and two of us are murderers.
I don't want to know that. It's all right if my friends come with me. No, I tried.
Oh yeah, that about sort of wraps up the episode. They beam back, and we finish with Mariner playing a soap flute,
and
which
presumably not being very happy with Rutherford or Boimler.
No, and rightly so, because they made a mess of that,
and they were doing stuff that are against regulations.
Yeah,
but
no food or drink in the transporter room, and there's a reason why there's no food or drink in the transporter room.
I just still love in the far-flung future where you've got all this technology, still the best way, if you spill some drink, which you're not meant to have in there, but like there must be some situation where something might spill on the console. Like the protocol is take off your shirt and dab it with that. That's going to be the best way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other better way. Like they've even suggested the Enterprise is self-clean, so you assume other ships timer. No, it's just
like the pair of them obviously panicked of what they'd done. Knew they'd done wrong, so didn't own up to it because they could have gone straight to one of the other transporter rooms to beam them up.
Yeah, or they could have beamed the liquid off the transporter panel.
Also, actually, I wonder because I was talking about the Enterprise. They've got that kid out to self-clean. Cerritos, they're going, second contact. We'll just cheap out on this model.
Yeah, Cerritos probably ain't got it. That's probably where all the cleaners
they
who
will
join
have
Starfleet work.
more than one transporter room.
Yeah, just by any of the transporters, there's a
outside.
panel going, if you spill something on here, like it's got a diagram of someone taking their shirt off.
Yeah, you have to do that.
It's the only ship which doesn't have self-cleaning, like that class.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They could have probably phased it off, to be fair.
Yeah, on a low setting. Yeah, could have evaporated it off, but it's got alcohol in it.
Mind you, it works perfectly because it's those two are just knuckleheads. It's like they probably could have done all these things we're mentioning, including self-cleaning, but they were like,
I honestly think they just panicked. And
yes, they are.
That's the first thing. We've got to get this off.
yeah. It's just lovely when they come in. It's like, oh, they're transport malfunction. These things happen.
Yeah, but it maroons them for a long time because of the weird ass planet. But no, another good episode. We're in a really strong run at the minute with Lower Decks.
Let's be honest. Has there actually been a bad episode?
No.
In 5 seasons of Lower Decks? No, there hasn't.
I think the most we said was one episode was like okay. Like one particular.
I think you're going to. Yeah, you're almost going, it was okay, but there hasn't been a bad episode. There's been
there hasn't,
And every other show, I think, apart from Strange New Worlds, Touchwood so far, we can say that there's been bad episodes.
There was one I made an argument for on Strange New Worlds, but that's neither here nor there right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would say particularly with this, where they've got data though, and of course, Brent Spiner is wonderful in this. What's really great though is, and I'm so glad he was there, but if he hadn't been, I still think this episode would have been great. That's how good they are.
Yeah,
but obviously, by having a purple data in there, you're just dialing up 100%.
It didn't need data to make it a good episode.
No,
but having data there was great.
It made it just outstanding on top of being great.
Yeah, definitely.
He was even the one who suggested them working together, which was really nice. Like data influenced events.
It was like the flake on top of the sprinkles, on top of the cherry, on top of the cream, on top of the ice cream.
Because you sort of don't want the guest cast. You don't want the guest cast to be the solution. It's got to be the cast who are the main thrust of the solution. Yeah. However, some nice little character development point he helps with by going, hey, I've got a suggestion for the officer, make them both. Perfect use of him.
Yeah. That's it. Didn't overshadow the regular cast. It was just a fun addition to it. So back to Enterprise then and Carbon Creek. And this is the second episode of season 2.
Yeah.
So we wrap up the Shockwave 2-parter, which we covered when we covered the Temporal Cold War. And spoilers for that, not that great. But this one, I remember when I did my most recent rewatch of Enterprise. When you get to this one, I was like, wow, the quality has really picked up season 2. It feels like a breath of fresh air, this episode.
I think this episode is really, really clever. And it leaves you thinking as well.
I mean, I didn't... It was good enough, but it's like the only thing I did feel is like, which is a sort of constant thing with Enterprise, is it doesn't do anything particularly new. Like there's other episodes which do everything they do in this, and it's like I think that was Enterprise's biggest problem was like this felt like sort of to the Naked Now to the Naked Time, like being an updated next gen episode of the original series. This is an updated version of like some of the original series ones, especially where they take the clothes off the line. There's kind of those tropes.
There are.
Like we've seen it where Spock's been in the past and that in the original series. So we have it. So we've even had we've had Vulcans in the past before.
And it's the fact they don't even make any effort to make T'Pol look any different in the past. It's like just exactly the same haircut.
Yeah.
We could just give her a little fringe, or like a different fringe or something. No,
she does like brush her hair so it covers her ears.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
first
but-
later, but when she comes on the screen, it's just her. Like, I mean, I get using
Yeah,
the same
it's like-
actor. That's
it's
okay,
like-
but-
Yeah, we know it was your grandmother or whatever, but genetics can be strong between grandparents and grandchildren. But come on, identical.
including haircut. That's
like-
what I mean. Yeah.
Like, if
Yeah,
it had been,
yeah, I
if
see
it
what
had
you
been-
mean
If
now.
it had been a male character, they'd have given them a goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give her slightly longer hair, something just to.
Yeah, they'd have done something
differentiate.
because let's face it, it's a wig that she's wearing anyway. I assume it's a wig she was wearing. In
Yeah, I
Enterprise.
think so.
Yeah, please say she had longer hair. I think
Yeah,
throughout. Yeah.
she did because
And
when she appears in Stargate, she's got
yeah.
a normal hair very long.
So the setup of the episode is right. T'Pol, you've been on the ship for a year, and then I thought this was really out of line from Captain Archer because he sort of goes, "Oh, while you were on shore leave, you went to this place. Why did you do that? Like, mind your own."
Can I also, like, I mean, how detailed are these Starfleet records, and why the fuck did he look that specific thing? Like, I mean, I get they look at their service record. Why would they look at their shore leave plans from
Yeah,
over the years, so he knows
fucking-
where she was at any
I
point?
was up to
Mind
say
your
that-
own, Captain Archer.
I was off to say the reason for this could be because the Vulcans are still being funny with Starfleet, aren't they, at this point? So
Maybe.
Starfleet is maybe does watch the Vulcans very closely, that because the Vulcans normally maybe stick to San Francisco and this place to don't go off on
Well, if
wild
that's
trips on
the
the own. So
case-
it's maybe come up that, well, just have a quiet words without anything and see if you can find
Flagged on
out
a
what
file.
she was doing. Yeah,
If that's
and
the
I
case,
do
the
wonder if
front light on, that's what they're doing.
well, why would you that they're doing secret surveillance?
Well, exactly. So he shouldn't go, "Oi, T'Pol, I know where you've been." He should be like, "Shh."
Well, maybe because he's not a very good spy when they've said to try and find this
okay.
out. And that's
One
why
thing
he's
I
a
will-
Starfleet, and that's why he's a captain of a spaceship and not a spy.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I will say, I mean, he could be working for Section 31. No, that comes up later anyway.
No, but
One thing I thought throughout was, though, that Trip and Archer, like Trip, I think is always meant to be the one who kind of like tries to take the mick a bit with T'Pol, but Archer joins in a bit too much here. It's like, for fuck's sake, you've invited around for dinner and you're just taking the piss all throughout. It's like Cisco and talking about the Ferengi, or anyone talking about the Ferengi, basically.
Yeah.
There's some racist shit. This is all I'm saying against Vulcans in this episode. They're just taking the piss throughout the whole thing.
There's a lot of
Oh,
problems.
Archer
like-
is.
But
like
they do
that.
have that, like they do say, there's a big thing because, like, this point out the longest the Vulcan has been served on an Earth ship before has been 2 weeks, and T'Pol corrects it to 10 days because there's a lot of they're not getting on as. It's not the same as what we're brought up with it with TOS, that they all get on really well, and TNG, that etc. through the movies. We're actually seeing earlier than this when the Vulcans were all sort of, no, you're not going out into space yet. No, we're not letting you do this. No, we're not sharing technology with you. No, we're going to hold you back and all that.
No,
and there's a lot of resentment at this time between Earth and Vulcan.
And you're right. I think that actually, I will give Enterprise. That was a lovely wrinkle, interesting idea. Didn't always
work.
But I mean, the thing is, the way it's presented though is always as if it's like the Vulcans being dicks, and they do make some concessions later where Archer does sort of say, it's like, look, we appreciate what you've done, but now we've got to step out on our own. He does get a bit more diplomatic, but the way they're dicks towards T'Pol, I'm going, I don't blame them for not wanting to hang around with us or to keep us in our place, because we're just assholes to them and take the piss out of their very way of being.
You spy on my holiday, then you invite me to dinner and take the piss.
And make me drink when you know that I don't drink alcohol. Even though I'm Vulcan and it was established in TOS that it'll have absolutely no effect on my constitution.
They're probably making her eat meat as well, even though they know she's a vegetarian. It's, horrible people.
She does do some nice, subtle, slightly drunk acting, I thought. I thought that was suggested in here that she was getting a little bit tipsy. There was a couple of times when she drinks and she goes, So maybe she's a Vulcan lightweight, like most Vulcans can handle
Maybe.
it. She's like, right, I'll tell you a fucking story, lad. I don't know why she's
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this is the thing. It's T'Pol telling a story about her great grandmother, who looks exactly like her, as you point out. And yeah, they're investigating Sputnik. They end up crash landing, and they make their way to Carbon Creek. And there's the bit where we have to blend in, so let's steal the clothes. And then T'Pol gets changed behind this sheet, and we see her shadow, which leaves nothing to the imagination.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like this was a touch unnecessary, perhaps a little bit exploitative.
It possibly was, but I don't think it was unnecessary from my point of view in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not saying it was unpleasant.
I mean, two things spring to my mind.
It's like there was something that they did do this with Enterprise, didn't they? And it has been admitted. They did try to sexualize it to get viewers to watch it for things. They did the same with Voyager when they brought Jerry Ryan in to play 7 of 9.
Yeah.
And credit to Jerry Ryan, she turned out not to be just a blonde bimbo there for eye candy. That she's a bloody great actress and really developed the character she was playing.
Yeah.
Well, let's for a start just say it's like, I mean, I think 7 of 9's catsuit like hails to the way they kind of treat her, and that wasn't idea, that was pretty exploitative, as you say,
and it was done deliberately. And
they do
the same with T'Pol, and this is part of it, and they do it like when they've got the gel going and all that.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to get onto. Yeah, if I could jump on that, because it's like, first of all, I was sort of going to jokingly come up with a list of kind of rude things in this. They give you fuck all in the dialogue when it comes in innuendo, Enterprise, right? I was just going to like purposely take stuff out of context, nothing. But then I see this in and go, no, they've just put it on Front Street instead. And it's like, you see that in the reflection, you see her nips, basically. You can very clearly. And then they're not content with the fact that you saw it once. When she comes out, it's like, well, that's backwards. Well, I better go and change again. And it's like you see her starting to take off again. It's like, oh, come on, was once not enough?
Yeah,
in her contract, she's got to get a kiss off at least once an episode. And
I mean,
why the fuck would she not get how that would like? The Vulcans are dumb and they've got clothes. Why would that be?
Yeah,
It's
so
dumb.
she can get a kit off. That's the only reason. But
it
anyway,
must have been in a contract. Once every episode, we have to see your nipples in some bit. We
Yeah.
haven't got the decon chamber here, so this will have to do. Other than that, it was a nice mirror, as I say, to the original series Enterprise, where
and right down to him just wearing a hat to cover the ears. Though why didn't they just tell everybody he was Chinese? We know that's what you do to hide a Vulcan.
He's Chinese and he fell in a rice factory, in a rice machine when
mechanical rice picker.
Oh, I forgot that. God, that's not ideal.
And I do enjoy the bit where he goes and starts playing pool to win money. Like, no, it's just geometry. I can work this out.
It's simple child's geometry. It's not a complicated game.
I really enjoyed all that. I thought that was great fun.
I did though enjoy it. It's like, if I win, I get her. Basically, it's like, sure. It's like,
that's been done in so many different shows, hasn't it? Where you've had it Knight Rider, where you'll have Kittle microwave the dice so you can win it. What did I call it? I can't remember the name of it.
Blackjack?
When they play with dice.
Craps.
And stuff. And we've had it where Data's card counted in the Royal, and so it's a trope that gets used a lot. That how are we going to get money to get out of this? Oh, we'll use our talents to gamble.
Well, there's also that whole thing of like, because it's set in the 50s, there was a thing of like, I'll play and I get your woman if I win. And then so by this stage, it was almost a trope in itself of the thing of, we'll do that. And then the woman going, no, we bloody well won't. And it's like, no, I got this. And then they, it's like, it's almost a trope at this stage.
Yeah.
Given though what they'd done with the washing line, I did get a sinking feeling that the Vulcan wasn't going to win at pool, and T'Pol was going to end up, or T'Pol's grandma was going to end up being this guy's slave or something. But thankfully, they don't go that way.
There was a thing, apparently. I read this a little while ago. Apparently, originally, if Enterprise had gone on, they were going to say that T'Pol was secretly half human. So maybe they were going to relate it back to this somehow.
Possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I heard that it was off to come out that she was half human.
I think that'd have been a bit shit. Yeah, I don't see point in doing that.
Well, it's more of the pattern of Enterprise, whereby they tried to do everything originally, and they tried to go, it's like, no, you haven't met any of these races. Yeah, but they secretly did meet them all. But she's pure Vulcan. Yeah, but we'll make her half Vulcan to match Spock later. You know, it's like they just couldn't leave alone taking stuff from the other series. And that was their downfall, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was like they could have had a great concept, but I don't know what it was. I assume it was the studio kept going, oh, we liked what happened, how much money TNG made us. Do that again.
Yeah, and like actually it shows that their last series was the best viewing figures, and I think if they'd had those viewing figures a season earlier, it might have kept going. And that's when they did something really original with the Cindy plot.
Was it the best viewing figures the fourth season?
I thought it was Spike in the last series. I might be wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, it picked back up in fourth season.
I mean, the quality of the show was...
I think they allowed them to do a last series, but it
didn't get cancelled. Third season did just enough for him to get renewed, but then I don't think it...
Yeah, I think they've just getting one more season, which
they renewed for one more season and then it would end there. But when it garnered better viewing figures, there was hopes. That's why there was all the campaigns, because there was hope they would change their mind, but they'd already pre-cancelled it before. And I think it was something to do with as well, they were already taking sets down and stuff. So even if they had a mind to, which I don't think they really did, it was too
I don't think they did. And everything. So I like how we've got the three different Vulcans and the different interactions. Like we've got, I'm just going to call it T'Pol. We've got the main Vulcan guy who is completely integrating into humanity to the extent that he begins a relationship with a human woman. We've got T'Pol, who's kind of in the middle, and then we've got the grumpy old one who just doesn't do anything for the whole episode. He just sits back in the house to the point that you've more or less forgotten he's there by the time he comes back at the end.
Well, in the very minute they land, the guy who's gets into kind of humanity, basically, the first thing he says before anything, they've literally just landed, they have no idea if they're going to be able to get rescued, whatever else, and he just goes, it's like, well, we could kill that animal and eat it. It's like, you literally just landed. It's like that episode of South Park where they take the piss out of Alive, where they've literally just landed. It's like, oh, we're not going to be rescued for an hour, we better eat him. It's like, what? Have you got a blood sugar problem or something? You know?
There's the episode.
That's someone who always really wanted to try meat and just needed the excuse, basically.
There's the episode of The American Office where Dwight and Pam get stuck in a lift, and immediately Dwight says, "We need to establish a urine corner," and he just starts pissing in the corner.
It is. It's like, for fuck's sake, man, give it 5 minutes.
Right, we're here. Come on, let's go kill him. Let's kill Bambi and eat him. But yeah, I like this character though, because he goes to baseball games. He likes I Love Lucy, which of course, I Love Lucy exist in the Star Trek universe?
Yeah, I think it's very meta to put. I think it's very meta to put I Love Lucy in when they've gone back in time, and I think it's fitting that is their favourite show to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lovely sort of version of this in a bit more direct, but in Doctor Who in Remembrance of Daleks, which was whatever 25th, and it was one of the anniversaries. But like they go back to when Hartnell left Earth, and it's like they're just about to turn the TV off, and it's like, and now for a brand new science fiction TV series, Doctor, and they just switch the TV off. Just or nice.
Yeah, that's good fun. I
love
like
it,
that
so
episode.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's a really good one. So then there's an explosion in the mine. And they have a brief debate about, can we use a phaser to help them? And yes, they do, is the outcome.
Yes, it doesn't take... It's sort of like, look, I'm going to do it, so you either help me do it I don't sort of like give away that I'm using a phaser, that we keep it discreet. Or I'm going to do it, and I might be saying, so you need to help me to do this, because I am doing it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the last big event, really, before they get contacted. And it's like, right, you've got to go home. And T'Pol just sort of summarizes from there, like, he became a hero, but no one ever found out who he really was. And he doesn't want to go, and ultimately they tell the other Vulcans that he's died. So
that he died as well in the crash.
He remained on Earth, and then T'Pol decides to invent Velcro, which is that's a bit out of left field, but
let's break the Prime Directive.
I don't know why this particularly annoyed me, stuck with me certainly, but they had this episode, and there was an episode of Sliders where they also Rembrandt, if anyone remembers Sliders, decides that aliens created Velcro, and they have it was one of the worst later episodes, so they actually had an alien at the end of the episode in that dimension who had discovered Velcro.
All right.
And it's like it was the same joke, and they were about the same time, and I just think it was a coincidence, but I was like, why Velcro? Why do they think Velcro's
I feel like
because Velcro's actually really good, and it fits in with Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future, that there'll be no zips and no buttons on any clothes, that you'll just pull them open. And that
that's true. It was all
reference.
Yeah, it was all about there's no zips.
Zips, no buttons, everything. So you can just... So Velcro fits into that really well.
Elliot, I will say genius. I'm not sure I trust the Enterprise writers to have thought it through that much, but they did do I Love Lucy, so maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, Velcro does fit into a Gene Roddenberry vision.
No, it does. Nicely done. Yeah, I like it.
It all kind of doesn't matter, because then at the end, T'Pol's like, but I might have made it all up.
But then at the end, she shows the bag from that she still had, so she
does still have the bag, so it's implied that she didn't make it all. What she should have done, though, she should have said, maybe I made it all up. Then she should have gone and then come back and gone,
fuck. See, my interjection isn't going to be as funny as that. Well, I mean, it isn't funny, but it's like, hey, invitation only. Do you wish to be on my new Instagram? Answer yes or no.
I'm quite happy to be added to an Instagram.
Add us on your Instagram. Are we on Instagram with Retrack? Probably.
I'm not sure. Probably.
I mean, we're on Threads. No, we're not on Threads. We're on Blue Sky.
No, we're not on Threads. I don't know.
Facebook.
Have a look for us. We might well be on there.
But I was just going to say, I mean, one thing which I thought was, I almost thought was a plot hole, but I've decided along the lines of what Elliot was saying, funnily enough, and the other kind of links to Star Trek. Because Archer and Trip go, it's like, yeah, but how comes they didn't? What, do they have a special doctor? How comes they didn't find the, the bones of him afterwards? All this stuff.
Yeah,
and they get around it by him. And they get around it by her saying it was a story, but then she reveals to the camera effectively that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I think this is like the transporters with the Heisenberg compensators. You sort of get around the problem by kind of like using the name of the problem. So it's like, oh, it's just a story. It's like, but it wasn't really. Then what happened with all that stuff? Now we've gone past that now. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a sort of get out of jail free card, somehow.
Yeah. Then it, you're right. Then it leaves you going, but hang on, if it wasn't a story.
He must have phasered his own. He must have had an agreement for someone to phaser his own corpse and then
destroy the phaser.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all very like 150 years.
Or maybe...
It could have lived for 100. Well, it could have had another 150 years. So this is 1953, is it, with Sputnik?
Yeah, so he could have waited until actual first contact.
No, well, if you've been there till first contact and another 30 or 40 years afterwards, so he could have quite easily vanished by then as a Vulcan.
Oh, you know what they should have done then? The end of the episode should have been T'Pol getting a message from him and he's still alive now or something.
I did think of something like that. Maybe he was still alive.
I don't think he'd still be alive by Enterprise, but he would have quite easily been still alive
I suppose not.
by the time of first contact. And then we've got to assume that more Vulcans came to Earth after first contact, that we started getting Vulcans. So it's quite easy for him to vanish at that point, very old, or the Vulcans just to sort of like hide him away, that they find him. Yeah, let's get rid of him now.
It can be repatriated.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is, if there isn't a setting on Starfleet phasers to self-destruct without exploding, like, basically implode to remove evidence in case of
disintegrate.
Accident. Yeah. Basically, there should be a disintegrate setting in this case, because there's always a phaser or a tricorder or something. You should just have a setting where you can remotely get it to destroy itself subtly.
Well, that's the thing in the original handbook for Star Trek, wasn't it? With the tricorder, what does the tricorder do? And the answer was whatever Gene needs it to do.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the song Screwdriver from Doug Peebles. Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, he should have. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
No, I think it'd have been alive for contact.
He's
so
probably.
He might have been starting to come down with Sarik's disease as well by the time the Vulcans got there. They've been getting onto that age. So they maybe just sort of like quietly spirited him away and let him go mad on Vulcan on his own.
He's probably thought about
somewhere right now, going, it's like, hey, it's not my disease. I just got it. It's not my disease.
He's probably thought about it and then thought, bollocks, she invented Velcro, so I ain't got all to answer for. They find me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
I do
like the fact that his whole thing was to inspire the next generation. That seemed very Vulcan still, even though he's more fascinating than he should be. He's not obeying whatever version of the Prime Directive Vulcans have. It seems very Vulcan to be fascinated and be curious and want to help someone in that way. Where, because his mind was always like, it was almost like he was solving the problems of this guy's life. It's very, very Vulcan way of doing it.
So, I'm quite
fair. To be fair, Scotty did give away the formula for transforming into aluminum.
But
that must have. But like we have actually got transparent aluminium now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Scotty can do anything. Prime Directive doesn't apply to Scotty. I think it's written in the small fine print.
Yeah. I do enjoy that episode. I think, like Squee, what you said at the start, I don't think you're wrong in that it's a bit of a rehash and whatnot, but you've got to grade on a scale, and when we're talking Season 2 Enterprise, a decent episode is a very good episode when you look at where it is. So while it may not be the best episode of Star Trek, it's one of the better from this period of Enterprise, I would.
The problem is,
if you look at early Season 2 episodes of all the shows, TOS not included, but from that period, a Season 2 episode this is really strong.
Oh yeah, I think what I need to do is, next time we're going to cover an Enterprise episode, can we just all go how shit it's going to be? Because I keep on going in really excited because we don't cover Enterprise that often. And I'm always disappointed because I'm going, oh God, this one I remember being really good. And it's just like, I need to think it's going to be bad, and then I'll really enjoy
exactly.
it.
You've got to approach it the way I do, which is Enterprise.
Like,
and then you go
going the other way of maybe I've been too harsh.
Exactly.
No, I haven't.
no one has ever said Enterprise is their favourite show of Star Trek. Apart from people who are lying. Apart from people who are lying.
Well, that's because you haven't got faith of the heart, though, Elliot. You don't believe.
Yeah.
No, but Enterprise had a lot of faults. A lot of faults. Some of it, when it first started, it could have been brilliant, but then it just wasn't.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
that's a fair summary.
The thing is, I think there's some sort of nostalgia where I kind of seem to remember there were some episodes which were really great, and even during the Xindi arc, which is one of the strongest periods,
what was really
most
good...
of the episodes have some shit bits in them, even then, and it's like, I need to go in low expectations.
What Enterprise did really well that TNG was rubbish at, Voyager failed at, and DS9 didn't really try was during the Xindi arc, as the Enterprise got attacked, they put more damage on the ship and they carried it on to the next episode.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because they'd gone to full CGI by that point. It was a fully CGI ship. So you didn't have a model that could put damage on it without having to build a new model or...
The only thing I'm going to say,
which is why you didn't get it previously.
I'm just saying, for any right decision like that, like you say, I like lasting damage. That was really good. But for anything like that, you also get, though, the fact that they decided they would have manual operated doors when we have automatic doors now. Like, for fuck's sake, I get you're trying to say it's an earlier time, so you haven't got the tech you have in the future. I like the idea, but at least give them the tech we've got fucking now, you morons. I'm sorry, that pissed me off every time. It's like, the doors you could actually open manually here. Waitrose has got automatic doors.
Well, of course, Waitrose has Waitrose.
Oh, sorry. Oh God, shit! I've been in my hometown.
I'm sorry.
I moved back to my hometown of Romsey, and it used to only have a Waitrose.
No, Starfleet does not have Waitrose budget.
I've only been in Romsey for a month, and I've got this middle class already.
Milk or a loaf of bread.
I've been back in Romsey for a month. For 1 month, that's all it took, and I've been middle classified.
We will just go work at McDonald's, and it'll make you working class. We will wrap it up there then. We will be back next week to talk about the next episode of Lower Deck and wherever that leads us.
And Merry Christmas, Rose.
Merry Christmas. You can get in touch with us. We are retrekpod@gmail.com. We are at retrekpod, etc., on Blue Sky. You can find us on the other socials and Retrek Model Studios on YouTube.
Which is currently being rebuilt, is in the process of being built. I have started filming. I am going to put a small one out today or tomorrow because I bought myself a moving in present. Which I think a lot of the Star Trek fans might be interested in seeing what I bought myself.
Guess who's nearly back again.
Nearly.
And Dr. Squee, what have we got going on the Dr. Squee show?
Well, I sort of trailed last week. So this weekend, me and you did a lovely 2.5 hour plus, I think it was in the end, look at the rest of Twin Peaks: The Return. Fucking wonderful time talking about that. Please, it was great fun. If you've ever watched it, I would recommend. And one which was going to go out last week, but events with mum coming home from hospital kind of overtook. But tomorrow I'm going to put up my interview with a sports broadcaster whose fucking name's escaped me again. Anyway, sports broadcaster who's talking about pancreatic cancer's campaign to get.
Was it Vine?
No, it's not Vine.
I remember you saying who it was.
I remember.
And I thought straight away I know him.
For some reason, I've got 9 blindness right now. But anyway, he talked about like there's a campaign. So basically, a lot of men when they go into football end up leaving early or
Yeah.
cancelling plans to go to the football because there's a huge problem with bladder problems with men, which doesn't get talked about. So it's actually a really cool campaign. And he also talks about a legendary career with BBC, ITV, and Sky. It's one not to be missed. It's really great. And I'm so sorry, I keep on forgetting the guy's name. Anyway.
And thanks for trekking with us this time. We'll see you next time on the Retrek.
Thank you. Goodbye.
LLAP and drag off.
Fascinating.
Steve Ryder.